Hey folks, welcome back to TheWindowDog.com. Today is a big day around here and I am excited to tell you all about it. This is the very first episode in our new series that we're calling Window Wednesday. What we're going to do is answer commonly asked window questions in a video format. It'll take 10, 12 minutes. We'll get as much information as we can to answer very frequently asked questions. We'll have a corresponding blog post on our website at TheWindowDog.com, and we'll have some links so you can follow up, get additional information and such in the description on the YouTube channel. So, let me tell you a little bit about where this idea came from and our topic of the day. Now, the topic of the day is Who the Heck Are You?, which will be an introduction to me and our company and our website, and we'll tell you what we have going on. Now, the reason we're bringing that up is because we get a lot of comments on our website, on TheWindowDog.com, from competing Windows salespeople, probably salespeople who lost an order or whose tricks got revealed to a customer, and they got a little upset and they come online and they post about what a no good, no talent jerk I am, as if they're going to hurt my feelings. So that's why we're going to answer the question of who the heck are you in this video. Now, to give you an idea of where this whole idea came from, our company, Window Universe, now offers windows in 33 states. We're all over the place. A lot of them are sold through online quotes where we don't send a salesperson over to your house. We do everything online. It's really easy. We're a little bit unique in that regard. Most companies don't operate that way. The way I have it set up, a lot of the inquiries get routed directly to me. And I'll help out and I'll respond to the customer and help you with your order all the way from beginning to end. As the company's grown, I certainly can't help everybody anymore, but I do work with a lot of people, and I like doing that so that I can keep in touch with exactly what's going on. What are the questions people have? What are the aspects of this process that they're struggling with, so I can help get to the bottom of it and make this just as simple as possible. So I find myself talking with customers. I'll be sitting here in my home office on the phone with somebody, and we'll have a great conversation. We'll be telling stories about the old days and how we got to where we are and why things are done this way and why other companies probably do them a different way or why they haven't evolved yet where a different company may have. And I'll get off the phone with a customer and I'll just think, man, that was a great conversation. You know, I feel like we really clicked. I was able to help him get to a deeper understanding of the issue that was on his mind, and it felt like it was really valuable. But that was just me talking to one customer. And our company alone works with thousands of customers, and there's hundreds or thousands of other companies out there doing the same thing. So there's a lot of people out there with these questions, and me answering them one by one on the phone just isn't really providing very much scale. So that's why we're deciding to do things a little bit differently here. So for Window Wednesday, we're going to take the commonly asked questions from our customers and answer them on YouTube and on our website. So that's that. Let's get started with today's question. Who the heck are you? All right, folks. Well, to answer the question of who the heck are you, we'll start at the beginning. My name's Dan Schweiss, and like I said, I'm the founder of Window Universe. I'm also the creator of the website called TheWindowDog.com, which is the greatest source of replacement window information on the entire internet. But we didn't start here. I'll take you in the Wayback Machine here and tell you where we came from. Now, my first sales job was working for Circuit City way back when I was in high school. We were selling Walkman and cordless phones back when both of those things existed. Now, Circuit City used to pay salespeople based on commission, which was fantastic for a 17-year-old who was trying to buy his first car. You see, we'd have a busy week or a busy month. I'd sell a bunch of Walkmen with a bunch of extended warranties, and all of a sudden, my average pay was like $50 an hour, while my friends in high school were making $5 an hour working at a fast food place. It was a real eye-opening experience, and frankly just a lucky one. I just lucked into that job, but I loved it. So I sold the heck out of those Walkman and cordless phones. Ended up getting promoted to the TV department back when big screen TVs had those big thick cases they were in, and the thing would take up half your living room. And man, we sold the heck out of those things too, and the commission was even bigger. From there, I got promoted to the computer department, and the sky was the limit. So then I was going back to college. This was just a summer job, and ended up the next summer selling used cars at CarMax. Now, way back then, this was outside of Chicago, CarMax was a smaller operation than they are today. Today, they're the largest used car dealer in the country, as far as I'm aware. But back then, they were smaller, and it was just a used car store. We had a bunch of used cars on the lot. Their interesting differentiator was that there was no wheeling and dealing with the pricing. The price was the price, and that was it. There was also no wheeling and dealing on the trade-ins or on the financing or on anything else. They wouldn't sell cars that had been in certain levels of accidents. They would ship those off to the auction, so you could take confidence in the fact that the car you were buying from them was a decent quality used car, but it was also probably a little more expensive than what you could get from the shady dealer down the street. So the eye-opening experience there for me was that people were happy to pay a little bit more for a little bit more of a peace of mind. You could have a quality car, you could return it if you were unhappy with it, which was unheard of back then. And people didn't mind paying a little bit more for the car when it came with that peace of mind. So this was a neat experience for me, and I did great there. There were 60-some salespeople. This was, again, just a summer job. In I think my second month, as I recall, I was like the number 2 salesman out of 60, and I was the only one there working as just a summer job. I had to sort of be creative with my storytelling at the interview in order to get that job, because they did not want to hire people for a short-term basis like that. But being a salesperson, I was able to make it work. So that was a great experience. From there, I ended up the following summer not wanting to leave the college campus for the summer, so I stayed in small town Indiana and worked at a more traditional car dealer. There, the sales process was a little bit more old-fashioned. There was a lot of wheeling and dealing on the pricing. There was a lot of wheeling and dealing on the financing and the trade-ins and the extended warranties and the whole thing. So it was a neat experience. It was a lot more heavy-duty car sales than working at CarMax, and we really treated people worse. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So the interesting experience there was that we made a lot of money, sold a lot of cars, had a lot of fun, but also realized that this maybe isn't a great long-term job, at least for me, because I don't like feeling like I need to mistreat somebody else in order for me to do well. I just don't believe that that's true. I really think that I can provide value to somebody else in return for profits. I do well financially, my customers do well for having interacted with me, and that really isn't the way it felt at that car dealership. So after college, I didn't have a full-time job right away. I went 3 or 4 months working at the car dealership. They had promoted me to finance manager, so I'm 23 years old with a full-time job. You know, that's a real adult-sized job. You know, people are finance managers with wives and kids and mortgage payments and car payments. And here I was, 23 years old, living in my college house with my college roommates with no bills at all. My rent was $300 a month, and I'm making like a legitimate full-time living. So I was pretty much rich, but it was not a long-term thing. The hours were brutal. It was kind of a dead-end job. There wasn't a lot of upside from there, and so I wasn't really happy. So I was in school at Purdue or recently graduated. So what I did was started sending my resume to any company that was coming to West Lafayette to interview. So it didn't matter if you're looking for someone with a PhD in chemical engineering. You were getting Dan Schweiss's resume, and it was up to you to turn me down. So after my carpet bombing strategy there, I ended up with a whole bunch of interviews. And one of them was with a building products manufacturer that I had never heard of. Now, the company is Associated Materials, and the job was a management training program where back then they hired 6 people every year from all over the country, and those 6 people would work in the company in different roles, and you would change jobs every 6 months, move to a new city every 6 months, get exposure to different parts of the company, learn about how different things work, and then at the end, the idea was you would move into a more senior management position than you would probably be qualified for as a normal 25-year-old or whatever you'd be back then. So that was a blast. I mean, I worked in window manufacturing plants, I worked in distribution centers, I worked at the corporate office, I helped move the warehouse in Wichita, Kansas, which was a blast. I put processes in place at the manufacturing facility in Kinston, North Carolina that are still there to my knowledge, and I was some 23-year-old who was just figuring it all out. So it was really a blast. It was an enlightening time. After all that, I ended up running a distribution center in Northern Virginia. Now that was kind of a neat experience too. It was my first real supervisory position. I had 17 people that worked for me there. We were an $11 million distribution center. We had big 25-foot box trucks. We had warehouse employees. We had salespeople. We had outside salespeople, inside salespeople, operations people. It was a neat thing, and there were parts of it that I really liked. One thing that was most enlightening about that position was that I was in charge of the wholesale sales accounts to our largest dealers. So I would be in their office all the time, talking with them about what's going well, what's not, what are you struggling with. And these were the companies that you'd see around town, Bob's Windows and Siding or XYZ Windows or whatever it is. Those companies were generally buying windows wholesale from companies like mine. So I would do their training for their new employees. I wouldn't do sales training so much, but I would do product training, how to explain the features and benefits of our product, what makes it different from our competitor's product, how to sell some of the upgrade items, different spacers between the glass or different low-E coatings or triple pane versus double pane or different types of vinyl or exterior colors or screen upgrades or all that stuff. So I could do, back then I could do 2 full days of Windows sales training, so it'd be 16 hours of content. Now a lot of my dealers wouldn't give me 16 hours with their new reps, and a lot of the reps wouldn't really be capable of soaking up 16 hours worth of information, so I would generally pare it down. But I was a real window guru, and I could talk Windows for hours. So what I discovered there was that a lot of these guys were running their businesses very similar to that second car dealership I worked for. It was a lot of wheeling and dealing, a lot of trying to see how much you can get out of somebody, and very much like an I win, you lose type of scenario with their customers. It really reminded me of exactly what we did back in West Lafayette. So I would be in the office in the morning, and the owner of the company would be in there with the sales guys, and he's talking about the leads they ran last night and what came of it. And you'd see them high-fiving about some salesman who was able to close the deal at $1,500 a window when their par price was $1,200 a window, so he oversold even their target price, which means he gets extra commission, the owner of the company makes more profits, and they're just high-fiving about this lady that they talked into doing this and how she had this dog that was sick, and the salesman was spending all his time petting the dog and ended up using that sympathy to close the deal on this window sale. Just kind of gross stuff, that's not really the way I think anybody wants to live their lives, but the salesman probably made $2,000 commission or more off that one sale. So for these young guys, making $2,000 in a day, he was pretty excited, and he wasn't too worried about the fact that he had really taken advantage of that customer. So I saw a lot of that kind of stuff going on, and I saw the kind of money these guys were making. I mean, they're driving around in Mercedes cars, and they've got nice boats, and they're living the high life in big houses, and he drives his convertible on sunny days and his coupe on cloudy days, and you think, man, this guy is making a fortune, and he's treating his customers really poorly. So I felt like there was an opportunity. And at that same time, I was a little bit, let's say, impatient in my job. After all the moving around and the different levels of sort of promotion over the years, I was at a point where it felt like there was kind of a dead end. I had recently talked to my boss, the regional vice president, about a promotion, and he ended up promoting somebody who was 20 years older than me, who was less effective. His sales numbers weren't as good, but he had significantly more seniority than me. And that made me a little worried. I'm thinking, man, if I'm going to have to wait around 20 years before I have that level of seniority, before I get the next promotion, I'm out of here. I'm impatient. I'm excited. I'm not going to sit around here for 20 years doing the same job. There's just no way. So around that same time, Bianca was working in New York. She was working on Wall Street after getting her MBA up there, and that's a hard grind too. I mean, she was working more hours than me, working at the office till 10 or 11 o'clock at night and back there at 8 in the morning. And just kind of grinding it out in that big city way that they do up there. So she was pretty burned out. We took a week off and went camping at the beach. And we were talking about kind of being frustrated career-wise, and we were both doing well, but we were both at a point where we felt like the next step was going to be a challenge. So we ended up saying, what the heck, let's quit our jobs and start a company. Because I really think that if we started a window company that treated people well, we could still certainly make a healthy profit and run a good business, and we would be able to outperform a lot of these guys that are doing well currently because of the way they're treating their customers. I just genuinely believe if we were more like CarMax, we could treat people well, and people wouldn't mind paying a fair price for the products if they felt like they were getting a good quality service, just like I saw way back there at CarMax. Well, we started the company with just our savings that we had in the bank and a credit card that I had, and we were in a little one-bedroom apartment. We had logos made. We had some shirts printed up. We got business cards designed. It was really bootstrapped. We didn't have anything. I think we had $20,000 total that we used to start the company. That was all of our life savings. Bianca cashed out her 401k. I mean, we went we went all in on this thing. And today, here we are, that was back in 2008. Today, our company offers windows in 33 states and the District of Columbia. We're growing like crazy. We've never done as much business as we're doing every month now. It's really been a remarkable period. And that's not to say it's all easy. There's been a lot of hard times. There's things that have gone wrong. You know, there's customers that have been upset, and there's a lot of customers that have been thrilled. But it's been a journey, I'll tell you that. And we've learned a lot along the way. So back in, I think it was 2014, I was training some new reps, sales reps for our company, and it was kind of irritating for me because I ended up having to spend all this time training somebody, and then 6 months later they would move out of town or something, and I think, oh, now I've got to go through all that again with somebody else. So I was sitting around, took a few days off right after New Year's. It was probably January 2nd or something, and I was thinking to myself, this has been kind of a hassle training these new guys. What I think I'm going to do is put a lot of this content online, and then we'll be able to have people refer back to it. So I don't have to repeat myself over and over and over again. I don't have to train these reps to memorize every word of answer to this question. But when a customer asks them a question about, double pane versus triple pane glass or different types of low E or all these window product-y things, our rep could just forward that article from the website to the customer, and then that would be the answer all right there. And that way I know it's factually accurate, it's thorough, hopefully it helps to address the customer's question. So that's what we did. We started that website. We also included a bunch of information on window reviews because at the time we were getting, as our company was growing, we were getting called on by wholesale window salespeople, the same role I used to have. We were getting called on all the time, them wanting us to carry their products. And we want to be offering good quality products to our customers, so we were always evaluating these options, looking at the different choices, trying to figure out what makes the most sense for our business and for our customers. So we had all this information about competing window products out there, and I thought, well, heck, let's put that on the website too. That way our salespeople and our reps can refer back to it and kind of understand why we choose to carry the products we carry. And I really didn't think customers would find it. I didn't mind putting it out in public because it's not a secret, but I really thought it's going to be used for our reps to refer to when they're interacting with customers. Well, I was a little surprised. Bianca and I took a vacation, and while we were out of town, I was logging into the Google Analytics to check on the website traffic because I was just kind of curious how things were going. And I remember the first day we had 100 visitors on the website. It blew my mind, 100 people, and I hadn't told them about it, and they didn't find out from me or from our reps. This was brand new website. It had maybe 20 pages on it, and we're getting 100 organic visitors from Google. And I think, man, we might be onto something here. Well, now the site gets many, many times that in traffic every day. We're in touch with thousands of people all the time, helping them about Windows, and it's really grown in a way that I never could have expected. So I think we saw almost the same thing happen with TheWindowDog.com as we saw with Window Universe, our window company. We set out to just sort of do good and treat people fairly, and with the idea that if we did that, we would be able to make a profit and grow our business and be successful because we were having a mutually beneficial interaction with the customer rather than that sort of pugilistic, I win, you lose interaction that a lot of our competitors were having. And it's blown up. I mean, the traffic on the website is fantastic. The business of the window company is fantastic. I just can't believe how things have grown. So that's sort of the who the heck are you answer for our very first episode of Window Wednesday. That's how we get from young Dan Schweiss back in high school with his first job to today, running Window Universe and TheWindowDog.com. So you'll want to check out our next episode of Window Wednesday that'll be coming out next week. The topic we're going to touch on there is the difference between employee and subcontractor window installers. It may surprise you to know this is the most often lied about aspect of the window purchasing process. If a window salesman who's sitting in your living room is going to look you in the eye and lie about one thing, it's probably this. So we're going to explain the difference, why you should care or if you should care, and we hope you'll find that to be helpful. So remember, if you could hit that subscribe button, which you'll find right below here on the YouTube channel, we sure would appreciate it. You can also find links if you'd like to get a free online quote from my company. You'll find links to be able to do that. If we do not offer service in your area, we may know another company to recommend, and if so, you'll find that as well. So you can see some links down below this video, and we'd appreciate it if you check that out. So stay tuned for next time. We'll see you on Wednesday.